and welcome everyone to our episode of Xobin Talks. In our third season of Xobin Talk, we are hosting industry experts from HR domain and related functional departments to build a guidance for wide audience across globe. And today's topic is how to leverage and recruit with Gen AI. And for that, we have a special guest today with us. Her name is Swechha Mohapatra. She is the head of research and consulting at HRTech based in Singapore. With more than a decade of experience, she has various talent, okay, like talent functions, including HR and HR tech consulting, digital transformation, talent management, business partnering, and recruitment. She has been a driving force in supporting enterprises with their digital HR transformation journey. And today she's with us. I really want to give a warm welcome to Swechha on Xobin Talks. And thank you for joining us today. And over to you, Swechha.
Thank you, Manjit, and thank you to the Xobin team to for inviting me. Just a quick recap. Thanks for the warm intro as well, Manjit. Just a quick sharing about what HR Tech does. So I head the research and consulting for HR Tech. We are Singapore headquartered and analyst HR Tech and HR consulting and analyst firm, and our sole purpose is to drive data driven agenda to help organizations in their digital transformation journey. We have been we were founded in 2018, and since then we have been helping workplace and workforce transformations to deliver strong business and HR outcomes. Like I mentioned, our singular vision is to create a tech-driven and data-centric HR ecosystem for driving successful workplace and workforce transformations that will enable organizations to grow and HR teams to become more strategic business partners. I am based in Singapore for the last 11 years or so. I have about more than a decade of experience, like Manjit mentioned, and I am a background, my background is in engineering, computer science engineering, and I have done my MBA as well. So we'll just get straight, without further ado, just get straight into the conversation, Manjit. Thanks.
Sure, that's a really great introduction you have given. So that gives a idea to the audiences, like what kind of experience you have and what kind of a background you have. So based on that, they can shoot the questions and you can definitely help us with answers. Okay. So to start with the first question, I would say, based on your research, what do you think, like how organizations can effectively integrate AI-driven tools into their recruitment process to engage and attract the best talent, including Gen Z?
So what I would want to do, Manjit, at this point in time is also to give, a background to, why we are here, right? We are actually talking about AI and the, impact AI is going to have on HR. I think generative AI or ChatGPT has been no stranger to anybody in the field that we are in. And of course, even if we are not in that field, it is becoming so democratized these days that, everybody is jumping on the, AI or the generative AI bandwagon. So with that, I just wanted to share a few data points as to how, important adoption of AI in HR is, and how there is an exponential adoption of AI in HR these days. So according to a SHRM study, it states that about 1 in 4 organizations are using automation or AI in supporting their HR processes, and including recruitment and hiring. And 85% of those employers that use AI or automation say that it saves time for them and increases their efficiency. Another data point I wanted to share is, according to a Korn Ferry global survey, 63% of talent acquisition professionals say that AI has changed the way recruiting is done. Right? So nearly, which means that nearly 2/3 of talent acquisition professionals agree that AI is changing the way they source, they screen, and how they are able to garner high quality candidates. Another aspect, and this is something that a McKinsey report, a recent McKinsey report says that generative AI technology is going to be used by around 80% of the jobs, that will be incorporated into, the jobs in which we do work today in. So all these mean what, right? What does it mean for HR professionals? It basically means that it is very important for all of us as HR professionals to embrace AI, and AI won't replace you, but definitely if you don't embrace AI, someone who is using AI will. Right. So to get that competitive edge, riding the AI wave or the generative AI wave is definitely indispensable, and we should unlock it to embrace it and unlock its vast potential for to be successful. So a quick run through of what I wanted to speak to you about today is, how does generative AI transform HR job roles these days, right? So automation and AI and the impact that and it's a very good thing that the fact that we are able to take out some tasks from the mundane HR roles, the operational tactical tasks that we have from the HR job roles, and then kind of use AI to our augment AI, and then use it to our benefit to say for say HR assistants, we can automate these administrative tasks, right? Or we can help answer employee queries to provide information on policies or information on go through a self-service platform, so that we are able to answer these FAQs very effectively. Or some help desk support or employee onboarding specialists who can personalize based on the data and the information that is available to them, personalize the onboarding journey for candidates, which obviously increases your candidate's experience, your employee experience, and then obviously helps in your productivity and hence your business goals and your bottom line. Apart from that, definitely generative AI, I'm not sure how you or the audience have been already using it, but HR content writing has become very, very easy, or at least for the ones who are able to tap into it well, you should be able to get more productive, and it's many research have already stated that at least in white collar jobs, generative AI or AI is really helping them transform some of these roles and helping them become more productive. Right. Some of the others are benefit administrators, payroll processors, recruitment coordinators, like, scheduling, for example. I think one of these, like you asked the questions earlier, right? Like, how does it help in recruitment? I think one of the most, time consuming aspects that recruiters spend is scheduling of interviews. Like, to go back and forth with the candidate and the hiring managers, and then try and come up with a schedule as to whether they are available or not, and in case there is rescheduling happening, then all of that. But obviously there is a lot of automation these days. I'm sure many of us are already using Calendly or those kind of
Correct.
tools, right? Which
Yes.
are helping us to reduce the time that we spend on operational activities, and focus, and use that time more effectively into engaging with the candidates as such, right? Or be able to do more with less. So that's something that I wanted to quickly share. And how can HR professionals then leverage AI, right? They definitely, we as HR professionals, like I highlighted earlier, we need to upskill ourselves and acquire AI related knowledge, so that we are able to understand what the tool does, and be able to leverage it to our own benefit. Right? Many a times, and we have seen it a lot of times in many of our interactions with our clients or with the HR community, they are scared of embarking on technology or embracing technology, because they feel that either it is going to be a headache, or it is going to take too much time probably, or it is going to take our job away.
Yeah.
Right? But if you are able to actually, if you come to think of it, if you're able to actually reduce all these operational tasks, then your job is not going to go away, but the type of job that you do is going to be more fulfilling. Right? So
It's
I would.
about efficiency and productivity improvement, which people needs to, they need to get properly understand the way AI functions, basically, right? Like as you said, Swechha, like to leverage AI, it is not that it is going to make your life harder. It is going to make your life smoother. So for that, you need to adopt to the changes and learn. So I think training is also one part which will be very, very important for the employees, right? Which I
Yes.
think currently a lot of people are talking about generative AI, but it is still not explained to the generic population. They're still unaware of the functionality of the AIs, I believe. So that's why you are important to guide us, that how they can save their job and they will be more productive, more efficient for the company, right? That is the whole point.
Yes. Yes, and the other thing that I feel, Manjit, is that, definitely AI or generative AI, especially in the last 1 year or so, right? Like November 2022, OpenAI released ChatGPT, and then
Yes.
after that, it has only seen an upward trend.
Hmm.
So definitely, and to date, I think the trajectory that we have seen of generative AI, because it has become more democratized, right? It is like
Yes.
internet, or the internet explorer, or the Google for when internet was launched, right?
True.
Internet had been there since, say, 60s or
Long
70s.
time.
Yes,
Long
but
time.
when Google came in, or when
Yes.
that came in, it became easier for everyone to access, understand, use it to their benefit, right? So everything was at the fingertips, literally. And now also with ChatGPT being one example of generative AI technology, obviously there are plenty that we have today. And that space is actually, that's one of the space that is booming, definitely. So upskilling, like you said, is definitely something that we need to understand, we need to train ourselves, we need to be curious. That's one of the things that we definitely need to do, that we need to be curious to understand what the technology does, how it can help us, and how we can leverage it. Apart from that, shifting focus to strategic initiatives that require human expertise, so that we are able to eliminate or remove the operational part. Integrating with AI to make the data driven decision making, I think this is one of the most important aspects that AI or any technology will bring with it, is the amount of data you can collect. But
Yes.
collecting the data is not not the end all be all, right? It is also very important of what you do with that data at the end of the day, right? If you have 10,000 sources of data but you really are not doing anything with it, then the ROI or the benefit that you are able to get out of AI or the technology tool is, it's not really fulfilling the potential, right? But if you are able to understand, how what are the analytics and what are the metrics that I should be using as an HR professionals, how should I be looking at it from a data lens and an analytics lens, and then start looking at the sources that you can leverage to solve for the problems that you face day in day out, right? So then we always say in analytics parlance that never start with the data, always start with the problem, right? Or always start with your hypothesis. Once you have your hypothesis, once you have your problem, then start looking at the data, which is something that all HR professionals need to understand now, because if they don't, the world is actually, it's not even fast paced, it's an exponential speed. So if you're not onboarded, then definitely, we have the younger generation, and like you were mentioning, the Gen Zs, especially, right? They are native of chat GPT now, so to say, right? So they will be using chat GPT and open AI and all these tools for school assignments, for example. So if we don't do it, then definitely AI is not going to take your job, but someone using AI will definitely take your job.
That's a good note. I mean, for job seekers, HR professionals specifically, that they need to save their themselves, and they can get benefited by using ChatGPT. Rather, if they don't use, they have the minus point, somebody snatching those jobs without inexperienced people, but expert in ChatGPT, right? I mean, AI people will definitely, who are upskilled, they will take the jobs. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And definitely one more thing that, keeps HR professionals human, or keeping the human in the HR aspect, right, is ensure that you have empathy and effective communication while use technology only to augment. And that's something we always keep highlighting to all our, in all our interactions with the HR community, with our clients as well, that it is very important to keep the human aspect intact, right? Because that is something that nobody can replace. No tool technology will be able to replace that. And it's very important for us to, your employee experience, your candidate experience. Why is it getting more important today? Is because of this. It is because that, while technology and tools can do everything, but they can't think. They can only come close to thinking on how you have trained them to, right? That's something that is there. And integrate, adopt, redesigning your HR processes to integrate AI effectively, ensuring your ethical considerations are used, so that we avoid any bias in AI usage. That's again an important aspect. And continuously monitor and evaluate the impact of AI in HR. So with that, I wanted to also, showcase, Manjit, some of the, use cases of generative AI that we are seeing in HR today. So starting with, talent analytics space, where, AI based analysis of tools can be used for, analysis of employee data, or we can suggest employee interventions based on real time data, or predictive analysis. Predictive analytics can be performed through, tools like ONA, which use AI. And then, in starting from the beginning of the employee life cycle, right, talent planning, it essentially, identifying all the skill gaps. For example, forecasting for your workforce based on industry trends, where your organization wants to be in the future, where you are, what your competitors are doing, how am I placed in the skills perspective in my current workforce, and then what are the gaps that we are seeing based on the future goals that we have.
Mhm.
How I mean, this can be really be really helpful, but for organizations, so that they are not only upskilling themselves for today, but they are
Mhm.
actually also preparing themselves for tomorrow. Yeah,
Yes.
so more future focused and future fit.
Mhm.
And then apart from that, definitely, some succession planning or internal talent marketplaces that are there, and that also use a fair bit of AI in HR, right?
Mhm.
Talent acquisition, maybe we want to dig in deep into this, but creating, job ads.
Mhm.
Um, More particularly, for example,
Job
yes, job
postings,
posting.
right? Like accurately and design it carefully. That is very, very important because I think most of the job posting is flooded with all the key skills, and candidates get
Personalized.
confused.
Yes,
Correct?
it's not personalized because we are trying to put everything, but we are not personalizing. So either
Yes.
your company culture does not show up in it, or your EVP does not kind of reflect. So
Mhm.
if you are able to train your LLM in your generative AI, ChatGPT properly, you should be able to create very creative, attractive job postings, which can obviously help you to expand your applicant pool, and then kind of increase your improve your funnel, and then your hiring rates also, right? So is for JDs these days. I think one of the key trends that we are seeing in the space is definitely on skills based organizations, right? Skills are really becoming important. Why? Because when people say, workforce that is coming into the workforce today, like people who are coming into the workforce, joining the workforce new today, um, it there are jobs that did not exist when they even started their schooling or something, right? So
Mhm.
there are jobs that keep evolving. Say for
Mhm.
example, say Python was a technology that was used 5 years back, but it's not really in trend anymore, right? There are other technologies like Flutter and all of these that are replacing them. So, how do I ensure that I am not hiring for that particular technology, but I'm hiring for attitude, I'm hiring for potential, I'm hiring for, whether the person is able to learn, and then upskill themselves and be, agile and adaptive to change. And that's a very important aspect because, say for example, and I think none of the conversations actually these days would either be complete without generative AI and COVID, right? Like even if COVID has been,
True.
it is
That ghost
it's
is still
almost
there.
it's almost 3 years. We are still seeing, some cases, and still it is not gone completely from our lives. Pre-COVID, post-COVID era. So in this post-COVID era, definitely, what happened pre-COVID, and when 2020, March of 2020 happened, right? Like
True.
everything became, different. Right, then people struggle to get onto technology, switch on their Zoom cameras, and then
We
then
learned this. Yeah.
collaborative. And now we are looking at either coming back to work, whether we need to do it 1 day a week, 2 days a week, 3 days a week, hybrid, fully remote, fully in office. How does that work? So that those are some of the other aspects that kind of spun off, with AI too. And AI can use all this to predict the trends, and gather some information and all of that. Apart from the other aspects that I just mentioned, customized assessments, especially like how Xobin is placed in the market, you know that, then personalized onboarding, like I had mentioned earlier, then candidate engagement is something which is critical to as a use case to be solved by generative AI these days. Apart from that, talent engagement, your goal setting KPIs and performance reviews can be done through AI, generative AI actually, employee surveys, sentiment analysis, wellness initiatives, or data driven holistic wellness initiatives can be actually, you can analyze, and then you can see how you can run it and how you can personalize that for each of the audience that you have, each of the demographic. Talent development, like you were mentioning again, like earlier, right? Upskilling is important and learning is important. And what I also shared earlier for the talent planning part of it, where does your workforce lie? So once you understand your skill gap, how do you ensure that you are able to personalize these learning plans, and then give suggestions to your employees to take up, say, courses which are relevant to their job roles, what they want, what are they doing today, and what they would want to do tomorrow, right? So it kind of aligns to your aspirations as well. And then career coaching, there are a lot of tools actually available there. And then just in time interactive training, total rewards definitely on flexible employee benefits. And lastly, I think that kinds of cuts across the entire life cycle is conversational chatbots, right? So 24/7, either for policy driven, or for compliance audits, or for employee engagement, or for talent acquisition for that matter. You can actually put your chatbot to work, and then you can schedule your interviews. It can parse your resumes. It can help the candidate understand more about the organization as well. So there are a number of use cases that are available in AI, generative AI in HR, most more to be more specific. Lastly, one thing I wanted to touch upon is, and we started with this, right, Manjit, that AI is not going to take your jobs, but someone using AI will. But why is the question of AI is going to take my job away? Is because there are some aspects, the fear factor that is there, or the confusion on how is my data going to be used, for example, right? Like how will this be used, and how, whether there will be a say the data is transparent or not, whether we are able to have accountability. Some of the ethical considerations include that, whether we are able to be accountable and we are having this human oversight. We are not like leaving it to technology, and then robots will take over, right? So we're ensuring that we still have that oversight. Then definitely privacy and data protection is one of the key aspects that come in when where is the data being stored, how is it being used, who can see it, who should see it. All these aspects are definitely something that come into play. And fairness and bias, I think we have enough and more stories about how tools have become biased. Say, large language models, for example, once you kind of try to, even in the beginning when ChatGPT had just come in, or say Bing had just come in, there were a lot of stories as to how they were able to tweak the model, and show that there was bias angle to whatever the outcome or the output was, right? So basically having a personality to a robot. So if so those are some of the aspects that we need to ensure that as HR professionals we are the torch bearers for the ethics in the organization. We have this moral responsibility towards our employees, and we ensure that we are able to use our understanding of AI to just augment and not kind of let it take over. So that's it from me. Any other questions, Manjit? Happy to dive in and understand more about, say, what Xobin is doing in the space, for example.
Yeah, sure. Actually, that was where I was coming to. Like when you talk about bias and why, when you are using AI, then it is very easy to, refrain from being biased, right? I mean, you can be completely bias free because what happens is, let's say for Zobin, what we do is we do the assessment, right? When a job applicant came to you, nowadays everybody can write a resume with the help of ChatGPT,
Correct.
copying the entire job description from it, and then they can type in the resume, right? So all the keywords will match up. Any ATS will take it, okay, this is the 100% fit resume. And it will waste the recruiter's time, right? He will go through, he will interview the candidate, and then, go to the next
Got
level
it.
of interview without even knowing the capabilities of the person. So that is what Xobin is doing. Xobin is helping you to hire the right candidate who is having the exact skill set for those. You can have, pre-assessed the candidate on the skill set. And also, we can add aptitude, we can check how is the candidate's personality, because every industry requires different personalities. So, we say that do not hire skill, hire the personality, because they are going to remain with you, they are going to grow the company and not the, you know anything else. So that is what we say. What I wanted to know from you, Swechha, is how organizations are adopting this AI in HR tools. What do you see?
So if you see, Manjit, definitely, many of our clients who are on their digital transformation journeys, right, are either already using some sort of AI, starting from, say, I think most of, and talent acquisition, in fact, is one of the, earlier adopters, because, there is so much scope for automation, right? There is so much scope that you can, operationalize, and you can automate, and you can do your RPA and your, say, starting from, say, resume parsing, for example, right? For industries where a lot of resumes come in, and it's very critical for us to say, do it in shorter time.
Mhm.
Resume passing and your, rank and file and all this requires AI to be used. Apart from, like you said, assessments, like Xobin, there are a lot of, integration of, say, video interviewing, something
Yes,
what we are doing. So there are tools, video interviewing tools, which will integrate
Zobin
our
also
video.
has.
Yes.
Yeah, Zobin
Uh,
also has AI driven video interview assessments actually.
So definitely, proctored assessments like Xobin, so
Yes.
we could use that, and assessments in terms of, doing your non-verbal aspects as well, right? Like something that, tools can do, that is also some AI aspects. Then screening, scheduling in the recruitment
Yes.
space, definitely. Apart from, I believe, engagement, again, there is a lot of, survey analysis, sentiment
Mhm.
analysis aspects that come in. Talent development, like I had mentioned earlier, coaching is one of the key trends that is coming in. Then your uh, rewards also, we are seeing, like, a lot of this thing, but maybe, personalized benefits, and that is probably still early on in the cycle. Another thing I wanted to highlight, like you mentioned, the key, trends or something that is happening, right? Definitely, say, blockchain, while it is still earlier in the hype cycle or whatever, in recruitment in specific, there are a lot of use cases that, can be seen or are getting implemented. Other trends, I think diversity is really becoming important, and, removing the bias, like we were talking about earlier,
Correct.
ensuring, like, having the assessments which are bias free, or even writing, say, job posts and JDs which are, bias free, right? So
Yes.
there are tools that can, basically, even, tell you that there are elements of bias here, and then, you would want to remove it, and all of that, and all these aspects is something that I think the HR tech market actually it's flooded with technology, right? But I think the main aspect that comes into play is where the particular organization is in their journey. There are
But
a lot.
adoption. But
Yes.
how do you see the adoption? Is it as much as we are expecting, or it is lesser than that?
I would say the adoption is not as much as we were expecting, or we would want it to be,
Mhm.
frankly speaking, right? And there could be many aspects to why the adoption is not happening. Costs and all that is one aspect, but definitely awareness, of
Awareness.
awareness of the tools and what it can do and how it can help them, apart from other aspects like you know most of I mean, and this is something that in the consulting side, when you are speaking to clients, they will always say, okay, there is this latest technology which is there, and see,
Mhm.
talent marketplace, for example, right? it's
Mhm.
it's a very buzzword to have a talent marketplace, but if you don't have your upstream and your downstream source of data to ensure that that talent marketplace is flowing in well, you don't have your skills taxonomy in place, and you're not able to utilize all of that aspects because your organization is not mature, investments in a talent marketplace might not be helpful, right? Like, so those kind of things are something that you have to start with the problem and not the solution, right? You have to start with the problem and not the tool or the technology. And typically that's in you would also know this, that in our side of the things, it's called the shiny object syndrome, right? Like, there are a lot of organizations who would have that, but ensuring that they are aware of why they are coming to use technology, or what is the intent to use technology. Is it just because there's the latest tool and I have a budget, or it is because I want to really solve a problem? Because if I want to really solve a problem, I am able to choose the right tools. So, and
True.
that's another conversation for a different day, that how do you choose the right technology, right?
Correct.
uh,
Correct.
you want to really choose the right technology, then how do you ensure that you are preparing your teams for it, and ensuring that you're setting up for success, and not just implementing technology just for the sake of it? Because if you do that, obviously the change aspect is not done, and if the change change management has not been done properly, it will fail, and hence the adoption will further reduce because you don't see the ROI.
Exactly, because they don't know how to use it, and because of that, it will be a bad example, right? So I think HR tech, and you suggest people like how to set up the right tool for their organization, right, to grow. So I think they definitely need consulting, because as much as job seekers, even organizations are yet to be aware of the possibilities of AI in HR tools. So definitely, you have a lot of work to do, Swechha. It looks like that, right? I mean, a lot of awareness needs to be created, lot of people needs to be met, and they need to know the value. Once they know the value and they use it to the core, then only they will get benefited. So
Absolutely.
right, so that's great, Swechha. It was really great talking to you, but I'm not ending without knowing what keeps you passionate in this job. So you tell me about that.
Okay, I think one of and we were discussing this before we started our conversation
Yes.
today, right? Like, um, I think being curious is something that keeps me going. Ensuring that I have something new to learn every day.
Oh,
And there is so much to learn. I mean, you are always you I being a lifelong learner is something that has always been the top of my agenda, right? I always need to learn, and I keep telling my team also most of the times that, if I'm not learning, or if they are not learning, then they are not, like, achieving something. So please learn, please ensure that you are up to date with what is happening around you. Try and explore, right? Being curious and being, exploring new technology, that is the way that you will be able to, once you're curious, like in the data language, say, you have your hypothesis, you're curious, you will go and find, okay, now what, so what, then what, and
Yes.
then you keep on going there. And that probably comes with my, computer science engineering background, or science background. But definitely that has helped me kind of keep going and keep coming back for more, and getting up every day, and, being charged to solve problems.
Okay, that sounds great. And what is your plan for, upcoming year? 2024 is not very far. So any new emerging technologies you see coming up or you're looking forward to?
Um, so I think the Gen AI wave is going to continue, and we are going to see more of it, because at the moment, if you see, if you've heard, LinkedIn, say for example, just came out with their LinkedIn Recruiter and LinkedIn Learning generative AI features. Workday, SAP, Success Factors also came out with that. There are a lot of tools. I'm sure Xobin also already has some generative AI features. So, seeing that to maturity is something, or, at least, on that path is something that we see foresee 2024 as a, trend. Apart from that, skills becoming more important in the HR space or skills-based organizations, definitely, the technologies that help in, ensuring that the skills-based organization are able to work to their full potential. Those are some of the technologies that we'll be seeing. Apart from that, I think, like I had also mentioned, diversity and inclusion is becoming important. While, I mean, we are still wanting to see more of it, in the sense that, it should not be just tick in the box and say, okay, I met my 50% criteria of ensuring that I have,
True.
women, but
Correct.
actually,
Equality.
yes. But the thing is that, it should not be. And for women, I'm sure you agree to that, that we don't need, to be termed as a diversity hire, or we don't,
Of
women
course.
would not want to be termed as a diversity hire, but to
Correct.
be, hired for our potential and our capabilities. The opportunity is something that, needs to be given. And I think that needs to come with a lot of maturity on both the organizations, the workforce itself who is working, like, say, for example, in ensuring the inclusive workforce, and recruiters, HR professionals. It's an ecosystem thing that we need to develop. So yeah, so some of the those are some of the trends that we are seeing, and we want to
Okay.
see in 2024.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you so much, Swechha. It was really great talking to you. So I hope to see you around another, season and talk about more diversity, maybe in 2024, right? And thank you so much, Swechha.
Thanks, Manjit.
It was great having you. All right, thank you.